This is Avatars Radio News on the Hour. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the metaverse.
This is News on the Hour for Friday, January 27th, 2023. I'm Elen Dragonfire, reporting. In local news, Shroud of the Avatar's Release 110 is now live, and its developers have provided a roadmap of what to expect this coming year. Along with migrating to Unity 2021, they have announced a new treasure map system, an in-game events menu, free placement of housing on lots, and more. Scotty, a former Shroud of the Avatar artist, has returned to the team and will work on all things housing, so expect new housing items to be released this year. They have also promised to continue to fix bugs and improve the game throughout the year. Release 110 also saw new recipes for gold and copper-banded chests and, quote, crocktails, end quote. A fix for cloaks showing through mounts has been addressed, and a long list of towns and adventure areas received many fixes for various issues. Official developer live streams will continue this year with Catnip Games' own Chris Atos Spears and the Shroud of the Avatar team. Live streams on Twitch are scheduled for the Friday following each release, including today at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Players can submit questions to the developers by typing, quote, "Ask a Dev" in Twitch chat before their question. Avatars can find the Shroud of the Avatar official live stream at twitch.tv/Shroud of the Avatar. A full write-up of the game's 2023 roadmap and details about Release 110 can be found on their official forums. Today's local Shroud of the Avatar story was submitted by Thradia at the Avatars Express. In Metaverse news, Twitter user The Snazzy Rock recently managed to solo Atheon, the final boss in the Vault of Ice in MMO Destiny 2, which before this was thought to be impossible. After spending roughly 200 hours practicing and grinding for the challenge, he posted his record-setting dungeon clearing on January 21st. In the video, he sounded pretty happy to have the behemoth task behind him and his name carved into Destiny history, this being one of the most impressive solo runs in the MMO's life. In other Destiny 2 news, 2 days ago Bungie turned off the Destiny 2 servers while the studio looked into a problem that had players apparently losing progress on in-game challenges. This outage lasted a bit longer than the developers had expected, with the free-to-play looter-shooter remaining offline for nearly 20 hours before a hotfix was deployed. According to a report from Deadline, RLJE Films and Shudder will finally release a Children of the Corn remake from director Kurt Wimmer, also known for the 2002 television series Equilibrium. The film is set for a limited 18-day theatrical release on March 3rd, and then it will head for the streaming service Shudder. The film's synopsis reads much differently than author Stephen King's novella of the same name. Quote, Children of the Corn follows a 12-year-old girl in Nebraska who is possessed by a spirit in a dying cornfield. She recruits the other children in her small town to go on a bloody rampage and kill all the adults and anyone else who has opposed her. A bright high schooler who won't go along with the plan is the town's only hope of survival. End quote. The Simpsons have been renewed for a 35th and 36th season. Created by Matt Groening, the hit Fox-turned-Disney animated comedy began as a series of shorts on The Tracey Ullman Show in 1987, before becoming a weekly series in 1989, and will now pass the 800th episode mark. The show also holds the record for the longest-running scripted comedy cartoon and overall primetime series in television history. Gunsmoke previously held the title for longest-running primetime series with 637 episodes, but The Simpsons crossed the 750th episode mark just last year. Executive producer Matt Selman told Entertainment Weekly, quote, 800 episodes. Not even The Simpsons could have predicted this. End quote. PC Gamer reports that the game War Thunder's forums have developed a booming trade in sensitive military information. over the last few years, with multiple users posting restricted materials about jets, tanks, and materials from British, French, U.S., and Chinese armed forces. It wasn't long before stories popped up on Reddit that defense contractors like Raytheon had begun asking new hires if they play War Thunder. The stories spread, but they weren't true. When PC Gamer reached out to Raytheon to ask if War Thunder players really were considered a risk to national security, the company was quick to deny it. Quote, "Though it's a great story, it's not true," end quote, the spokesperson said, noting they couldn't, quote, "imagine a case in which we'd have a concern with any game," end quote. So it turns out that playing War Thunder does not render a player a threat to national security in the eyes of major U.S. defense contractors. Always remember, listeners, if a story seems too weird to be true, it probably is, and doing some extra research is always a good idea. This was all the news on the hour for Friday, January 27th, 2023. You've been tuned into Avatars Radio, radio of the Avatars.
To read the full articles of today's report, visit us on Discord at www.avatarsradio.rocks on the web.